Hello everyone. It's Elena, real estate investor, creative buyer. And a couple months ago, me and my friends, investors, we were in Vegas. We all were under Jesse Stanton mentorship, and we've been in Vegas for his mastermind. And after 3 days, learning from Jason, from other wonderful speakers, you know what everyone from us started to do on our way to airport? Everyone started speaking with our Uber drivers because everyone had speech from Amber McCollum about capital raising. Hi, Amber. Oh, oh, guys, find. Oh, we have some technical issues.
I got kicked
Oh,
out of the live stream. I don't know why. Listen, I still think people, I'm hoping we're live. I still think people can't see us on Facebook. I'm seeing all kind of messages come through.
we
Let's look.
you know,
Let's just look real quick.
let's do
You
what?
see it on your page? Do you see
Yes,
it
I
live
see.
on your
We are
page?
live. We are live. We are live.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know why
we
I just
have
got kicked
people.
out.
Yeah, because we
Perfect.
had, guys, I wanted to apologize. We had some technical issues. We were not able. Oh, cool. Thank you, Alan. We were not able to connect with some technical issues. I apologize. So, welcome, Amber.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me. I actually love this because this is life, right? Like we were ready, we were sitting, we were doing our countdown, and Lena was gonna just give us an introduction. Then we realized we're not live, and I still don't see the live, so I'm trusting her. And for some reason, like StreamYard literally just kicked me off, and the screen went blank. So apparently um, this is going to be really good because anything that's really hard is always really, really good, right?
Yeah,
All right, Elena, thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so happy to talk to everybody today. I'm trying to um, recover. I've been sick for a few weeks. And so if I get out of breath or perhaps start coughing, which I feel like I'm about to do only because I was just laughing,
Oh, oh,
please give me grace on that. But I actually have pneumonia and I'm doing so
oh.
much better, but my breathing's a little bit tough. So thank you guys for grace there. Um,
Yeah, thank you,
yeah.
Amber. Yeah, I know, and many people. I saw your posts on Facebook, on Instagram, and it's amazing how people love you and how people send you their wish, their prayers. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Oh,
You're really better right now.
yeah, I'm getting a lot better, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, there was an outpouring of love for sure. I felt it. Um, but it's not just that they love me, it's that we have really good communities, and I think they would be reaching out to anybody who's going through something. And I just love that. I love that about social media. I said the other day, I think Cody Sanchez actually had something on her page where she said that the haters will get, try to be a part of your life later on once they see you're successful. And that is one of her only posts that did not resonate with me because I don't feel like I have a lot of haters. And I feel like that we don't, right? Like you don't,
Yeah.
I don't. Like if I put a post out, it's so positive. I never really get that negativity. And so
Mm-hmm.
I never want it. I think what you put out is what you're gonna get in. And I don't know. We have a really strong community, so I'm super grateful and definitely thankful for it for sure.
Yeah, it's true. You're right, Amber. It may be somehow we attract each other, and you attract great people around you. It's awesome. But people really
Like
love
you.
you. Thank you, thank you. Let's talk today about capital raising. So it's this podcast. It's part of my private money world series, and of course, how I can avoid speaking with Amber, because we want to know how to do capital raising. Every investor wants to raise capital for their deals. Who if not Amber? Oh, and
Oh,
very logical. Yep. Say again.
I'm just listening.
No. Oh, so my question is it easy to do capital raising, Amber?
Yeah. So is your question, is it easy for me to capital
Yes.
raise? Okay.
I mean,
Um,
for you or in general.
yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question. And I actually wish I could pull the audience. So if can you see the audience comments? Can you see them? Like through your
Yes, I see
StreamYard?
comments. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna ask a question and I want you to tell me what people say. Okay. So I'm a private money lender, and if I am going to come into a deal, what do you think that I want from that deal? So before you answer the question in the chat, I'm going to name some things and I want you to tell me if you think that that's what I want. Okay. So we're looking at Amber as a private money lender. So do you think, audience, that I want high returns?
Mm-hmm.
You can put a one, I guess, or yes. I'm going to keep going. Do you think that I want safety? Do you think that I want a good deal? Okay. Do you think that I want a partnership? Okay. Do you think that I want a good operator?
Okay, guys, your choice.
Do you think that I want to be a hero? Okay. So I'm going to answer the question about what I want. The answer is you're all wrong.
You
Because the
know what
fact
they
of
all say? All
what?
audience say yes, 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 yes to all. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And the reason why you're right and you're wrong. But the reason why you're wrong is because you don't know, right? You assume what I want in a deal and you don't know actually. And so for me, capital raising comes down to two things. Like there's capital raising to your everyday investor like me, everyday investor like you. And then there's capital raising for institutional investors. And they're two
Right.
different skill sets completely. I mean, this could be 3 or 4 or 5 podcasts, but when you talk to me about coming on and talk about capital raising, I thought, how does Amber do this? Like, how do I do this? What are my metrics? Right. And so for me, the skill of capital raising, it's not about pitches and salesmanship. It's all about people. And I say that a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a people skill set. It's a psychology of people skill set. And then when you're capital raising, like there's even subsets of that, right? So you can be raising for somebody else, or you can be the borrower yourself. And that takes
Mm-hmm.
also two different skill sets. For me, I'm launching a fund, so I'll be raising for the fund. And that takes a specific kind of a skill set. If you're raising for your own deals, that takes something totally different. But
Mm-hmm.
it all comes down to the skill set of people. For me, I've read a lot of books. I've been in a lot of masterminds and I've gleaned so many things from all of it. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to pitch better. I've learned how to be confident, how to talk better. And I think that I've definitely grown in that area. But the main thing is that it's creating, for me, it's always a one-on-one conversation, not some capital call where you have 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that as a capital raiser, you need to look at your metrics, just like anything else. Just like you're talking to a borrower, just like you're talking to somebody else, you have to reverse engineer what you're doing as a capital raiser. So when I reverse engineer what I'm doing, I look at my growth and I look at how I started, and it all comes down to me knowing what someone wants. And everybody wants something
Mhm.
different. And so if you're having a one-on-one call with somebody and you're pitching a deal and that's not what they want, then you've already lost them. The average capital raiser that's good converts or closes 2 out of 10 people. That's not me. I don't convert or close 2 out of 10 people. And it may take me one day to get somebody to be an investor. It may take me 10 months to get somebody to be an investor. But the main thing is I know the psychology of the person. So a couple of investors that I know really well, they want to be partners, and they don't really care about returns. Actually, they like it. Everybody likes making money, but they want a true partnership. They want to learn about real estate. They want to be a passive investor, but they want to feel like they're part of the team. And so
Yeah.
when I talk to them, I mean it. Like, this isn't something like I'm selling them. They are a partner. I talk to them about how they became a hero, how they saved the day, how they helped this operator through this very hard struggle and pain point. And they feel so good about that. And they reach out and they're like, how can I help? Can I have more conversations about it? And that person, I've given them what they wanted. Some people, they're business-like. They just want to talk numbers. And if that's what they want to talk about, then you have to be an expert capital raiser there. Like, you have to be confident in the deal. You have to talk about the
Mhm.
numbers. You have to talk about the health of the business. You have to talk about Q1 and Q2 and the growth over growth. You have to be able to know they want numbers. They want to know that you have a healthy business. They want to know that they're going to get their money back. If you know somebody's scared and it's their first investment and they want safety and
Mhm.
security, then you talk about the paperwork and you talk about um, what you did as an investor when you first invested. You talk about credibility. You talk about references. But my point is, if you talk about the wrong thing, they're not going to invest. I've seen it over and over, and I've learned it over and over personally. And I've gotten really good at knowing what people want to hear on the call, not because I want to sell them, but because the skill of capital raising is the same skill as what you do when you're going to acquire a property, or what you do in life at all. It's a push and pull. I don't even want to say negotiation, because I look at lenders and funding partners as true partners. When I say partner,
Mhm.
I want it to be a partnership. So as a capital raiser, I create a partnership. But and I know I'm just talking and talking and talking, Alina, but I want to point out a few things. One thing I did is I studied other capital raisers, and I think it's really important to do that. Alexis Morgan is very good at capital raising, and
Mhm.
she has a specific skill with capital raising. She and Abraham do private money lender masterminds, and they talk all about first lien positions, but a little bit about second liens. They talk about safety. They talk about personal guarantee. They talk about being safe in a deal, and they do personally guarantee it. And so if somebody wants a safe deal, they're going to go to Alexis's fund, and I tell them to do that, right? Like, Alexis and Abraham have crafted their brand on being safe. And that is a wonderful skill set. And I glean from that. And if I know that there's an investor that wants safety, I talk about safety.
Mhm.
But then I look at people like Rex Shippey and other people that I know that are doing things, that are actually getting private money investors. Like, how are they doing that? They're not capital raising for other people. They're raising for their own deal, right? And one thing I noticed about him is he does talk about flying investors out, and he does talk about returns for his investors. But that's like less than probably 2% of his posts on social media. It's not what he's talking about all the time. What he's talking about is growth in his company and what he's doing. He's showcasing his sub two meetups, and he's showcasing what he's doing on a day-to-day basis. And he's growing that credibility and growing those followers. And I mean, I'm going to ask you another question. And this is not bad, because I think this is actually really good. But have you all seen those posts where people say, I can give you double digit returns on your money? Like, you beat the bank,
Yeah.
like,
I'm looking
you'll
for
get,
PML. I'm looking for PMP.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if we're talking about the skill set of people, and you see this post, I see those posts, we're in tons of real estate funnels. and people are saying, hey, I can make your money beat the market.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in the shoes of a person or people. Listen, I'm a private money lender. When I see those posts, I generally like them, and I just want to be encouraging to people who are out there growing their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Never invest because of that post. That post doesn't get me to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not converting funding partners. I don't know about you guys.
Yep.
I used to do it all the time. Like that was never my conversion. I didn't post this. What that does, and it is positive, is it tells people what you're doing and it promotes credibility. So if you're posting those posts, I would say don't stop doing that. But what I would tweak about your social
Yep.
media
Mm-hmm.
is be a little more vulnerable, be a little more personable, and talk about your growth. People want to invest in someone who has motion. People want to invest in
Who
someone
is
who's
alive,
doing something
right?
in their business. So if
Mm-hmm.
90% of your posts are, here's ROIs I can give you, people are going to scroll. But if
Yeah.
90 to 95% of your post is, this is what I'm doing, this is what I've built, this is the property I've acquired, this is what I'm cold calling today, this is the growth I've had, look at my metrics, I convert, and it can be, if you haven't acquired a property, it doesn't matter. Like it could be something small that you've done. Like, here's an action I was taking last month, and here's what I've done this
Mm-hmm.
month. Look at my
Mm-hmm.
growth. And people start to want to be a part of that. And people want to be a part of that community. And I have a very small following, but it's a mighty following. And if I ever do post a deal, like I can get it funded pretty quickly. And I think it's because number one, referrals, and number two, I put myself in the shoes of the investor. Not everybody does that. The books don't say to do that. That's me. That's Amber's way of doing it. But it works for me. And I'm not doing that on this podcast, but when I'm actually on a call, like I listen, like I will pivot. I think you have to have the skill set of pivoting in a heartbeat. If you see somebody with a confused look, if you're pitching an operator and giving them a story and they're not a story person, you need to be able to pick up on that
Mm-hmm.
and pivot ask them what they want. Ask them what they want in terms of longevity, what they want, how they want to structure it. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
The story can help people to see the side story. I mean, to see other people in the same situation and to try to understand prior what they will feel, right? Yeah, it's a great skill. Yeah. So, what do you think? Actually, anyway, the most important skill to develop to be better fundraiser, communication.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You have to have communication, and like
Mm-hmm.
people will start a capital call and say, this is high returns, blah blah blah. Say that if you think that that's what they want to hear, but if that's not what they want to hear, then I wouldn't say that. Like if I was talking, so most of the deals I talk about are in Atlanta, and the person really just wanted to come to the properties and actually see and touch and feel it. And so we offered them that, and then they invested. So that's something that they wanted. And I think I'll say it again and again. The skill set is not a pitch. It's the skill set is people. Like, what does the
Mm-hmm.
everyday investor want? And everybody's different. Not everyday investor wants the same thing. Some people want short terms and a high ROI, and you can't give it to them. So they're not your people. I think that just as
Mm-hmm.
important as it is to capital raise, is important to find people that you align with. Um, when you're capital raising or when you're on a capital call, and I mean, there's a lot of structure to it, right? Like
Yeah.
um, it starts with your deal flow, it starts with the pitch, the credibility package, and then you get to that capital call. And I would know a little bit about the investor before I would get on that capital call. But then when you're there, I think you need to you need to know that it's okay to walk away from that capital call without getting money. Because number one, you have a good deal. And number two, you're the
Mm-hmm.
expert in that deal and you have confidence. And if
Yep.
you don't have the attitude And the spirit of this call may not work out, and that's okay because we don't need the money if it doesn't work out. We want somebody else aligned
Mhm.
with us. You're going to convert so many more people. It's when you're scared and you're worried and you desperately need it that it's hard to close, like it's hard to get the person to invest. But what I would say to everybody is you're not a beggar. Nobody's a beggar. Don't ever be a beggar. That can hurt so many things, right? If you're a beggar, that might change the trajectory of the deal for you. Like, first of all, you lower your status down and you raise their status, and that's not good. When you are entering a partnership with
Absolutely.
somebody, you need to be an equal status or greater. And the only reason I say greater is because if you're greater, it means you're providing education, which sometimes that's what the investor wants. So if they're not in multifamily, but you have multifamily education, you can offer them that and say, hey, you invest with us, this is the education we're going to give. I find a lot of people want that. So then your status is elevated because you're offering education and
Mhm.
you're offering what they want. But most of the time, I status because I want to create a community of partners. I want people to reinvest. I want people to tell their friends and family to come invest. I want people to like me. I mean, they don't have to love me, but I want to like them. I want to know them. I want them to know me. I
Mhm.
you know, so yeah, I think that creating equal status in the call means that you're not just going to take bad debt. You're not just going to take any loan out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just
I agree.
rambling.
Yeah, it's very cool, Amber. Just I just got the parallel between parents and children. If you want to teach children something, you need to be confident and you need to be expert in this topic, right? It's probably the same with people who never had any experience with private lending. Right? If you don't feel you're confident, if your voice does not spread your own self-confidence, probably you would never would be able to deliver the important information to someone's brain. It's awesome. Yeah, we need to be equal and we need to feel ourselves experts. Cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, so, how do you speak with people who never have done lending but who potentially ready to start? Let's say you schedule first meeting, you sit one to one to this person. So how you like to do this first meeting?
Yeah. So if somebody says they want to be an investor, I want to know where their money's coming from. I want to know why they haven't invested before. I want to know their fears. I want to know their thoughts. There's a million things that can go wrong in real estate. And
Mm-hmm.
so I want to know that it's not their last dime or dollar, right? Um, if if they can't afford to invest, I'm not saying not to invest completely because I know that's some way that people grow their money, right? And I want to
Yep.
provide an opportunity for them to do that, but I want to know what that looks like. And so for me, it's more of a getting to know you conversation because I don't want investors that I don't align with. And 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 that's the attitude that you have to have. And so when I go into a first meeting, I'm like, is this a HELOC? Like, and you don't have to get personal, but are you going to be able to make those monthly payments if we don't give you monthly payment interest, like monthly interest payments? Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
can, sometimes quarterly interest payments. It depends on the deal. If it's a deal
Yep.
that's negatively cash flowing for a little bit, um, we may have to wait for a quarter before we can start giving interest payments or even 6 months. And so I
Mm-hmm.
need to know, like, what are you able to sustain that? Can you withstand it? And I think that's even going to be more important when the fund launches because once people invest in a fund, they're going to be in the fund for the duration of the project. And so I think it's a really good conversation just to see where they are and to provide value right at the beginning when you're level setting with them. Like, where's your money
Mm-hmm.
coming from? What kind of investor do you want to be? Do you see yourself rolling this over in the future? Like, how do you want your first investment to go? Like, do you want weekly communication? Do you want monthly communication? Like, what do you want? I have an investor that I'm talking to right now, and he's caring a lot about safety and security. And so we
Yeah.
provided a lot of safety and security and a lot of other documents, but there was really just one thing he wanted. Um, and so I had a call last night and I was just like, then can we forget about this other stuff if we can get you this one thing that you want? And
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. That's all I wanted. And so I think that, yeah, my first call is, I'm probably not going to try to convert somebody on the first call unless they really want to invest and I have an active deal and they say that I'm interested. For me, it's about growing my community and network.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to do a better job of that. I used to send out emails. I don't anymore. I need to do that. I have a whole list. I need to do a newsletter. I think that that would help a lot. But um, I never want to lose that human touch. And so for me, um, my skill set is knowing people, knowing what they want, and reverse engineering that and being able to really provide what they want. Like, I'm a versatile person. So if they want high ROI, if we have a deal that has that, that's the deal I'm going to bring them in. If they want a good operator, they're going to get a good operator. Like, I'm going to provide an investor what they want, but I have to know what they
Mm-hmm.
want. And so that's why I asked that question at the
Oh,
very beginning.
cool.
Like, what do I want as a
Cool.
PML?
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So another improvement that capital raising is not one day game, right? You need to really to speak with people. Sometimes you just put one small seed to someone's head and it grows, and it can take months and months. Yeah, you started to speak about a very important topic about protection. So protection for lenders, and we all realize we should first care about their protection, about first to care about how they will receive their investment back, right? So, could you please explain us what kind of documents and maybe insurance lenders can receive?
Sure, I can talk about that. I want to go back to one thing though.
Mhm.
Everybody's not gonna be me in my way. So I want you to leave here knowing there's not one right or wrong way of capital raising. If none of this is resonating with you and you're like, I'm getting active investors and I don't do any of that, then
Mhm.
you're not me. You're gonna get a different type of investor, and that's okay. So just know this is what I do, and there's a lot of ways. As far as protection, it depends on the asset. Like, it depends on um, I mean, there's always for sure a promissory note security deed. That's minimum. You can do cross
Mhm.
collateral, you can do personal guarantee, you can do an equity pledge. We do that a lot in commercial real estate. You can do, I don't know, there's literally you can put anything you want in a contract. That's what I have learned. I
Mhm.
think having Georgia's a closing attorney state, I mostly just work in Georgia. So for me, we have an attorney that we work with a lot, and she will put what we need in a template, and so that the transaction coordinator can move around that template anyway. But that's
Mhm.
another conversation I have with investors. Like, what do you want? What do you want your late fee to be? What do you want? Um, what kind of communication do you want? What kind of interest payments? I mean, there's so
Mhm.
much that you can structure for both protection and to be able to
Mhm.
give the investor what they want. But also know that you don't have to give the investor every single thing they ask for. If that's not what you're giving, then maybe they don't align with you. And I'm not saying not to give them protection. That's what I'm not saying. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is, if you give them a promissory note and security deed and cross collateral, maybe you don't want to
Right.
offer a personal guarantee. Maybe you've offered a personal guarantee on the last deal, and so you don't want to offer it on this deal. And maybe they say that's okay. Maybe not. Maybe they want a personal guarantee. Um, I think you have to show liquidity. You have to be able to prove that you are a person that can pay off the loan if you do the personal
Mhm.
guarantee. So I think that the protection varies based on the capital partner and the kind of capital partners that you want. I recently loaned into a deal, and I have very little protection, I guess I would say. I mean, I'm fully protected, but I didn't ask for a
Mhm.
lot of other things because I know the operator really well, and I feel 100% confident in my investment. Something goes wrong, it's obviously my fault, but I didn't ask for a million layers. I didn't need to do that. I have the standard layers of
Mhm.
protection, and that's all I needed. That's all I want, and I'm fully confident that that operator is going to pay me back. So,
Mm.
but that comes with experience, and that comes with trust. And I know that um, I don't think if you're investing with somebody for the first time or it's somebody new, I think you need all the protection that you need for sure. Like I don't think you should just go into it. Don't go into it with your money unless you're
Yeah,
just like a wealthy person who does not care about losing money. Then don't go
absolutely.
into it without protection. But I think also as a private money lender, you can also be a good partner. And that
Right.
may mean not calling the closing attorney 20 times and asking 1,000 questions that the borrower's already answered. I mean, you can really kill a deal by doing that. People have done that. I'm not saying not answer the questions. If you don't feel comfortable in a deal, if you don't feel comfortable with the closing attorney, if you don't feel comfortable with the title company, if you don't feel comfortable with the borrower, you don't feel comfortable with the connector or capital raiser, don't do the deal, but don't kill the
Yeah.
deal. Like if you don't want to do the deal, don't do the deal. But please don't ruin somebody else's deal by doing that. So that's my
Yeah.
soapbox.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you so much, Amber. Very cool information. It's still everything
Yeah.
about how do we feel and if we want to have normal quality of our life, right? To sleep well, to feel well, to communicate well with people, to save relationship because we build this relationship, right? And
Yeah, for
and
sure.
lenders and investors and capital raisers. Cool, thank you. But are there any insurance, I mean legal options lender can purchase to protect themselves? Or only
Yeah,
something like collateral?
there's lender's
Mhm.
insurance. There's there you can add yourself as an insured party in the property. So there's definitely protections that way. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot that you can do. I guess I said it already in the last
Yeah,
question. Like you can you can do just
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
anything. Like it can be I think it should be a conversation. Like if safety is your number one
Sure.
thing, then that should be a conversation that you
Mhm.
have with the person that you're lending to for sure.
Yeah.
I think honestly, my advice would be find one or two people to lend to and lend to those people over and over and over. Like
Mhm.
people don't like when I say that because there's so many people who need money. But I think that um, your confidence and comfortability will grow, and that person will want to take care of you the more you're lending to them. And I think you're going to want to see
Mhm.
them succeed. And that's a beautiful thing. Like a collaboration is really good. Being able to watch somebody's business grow and scale and being a part of that, like it's really fulfilling. It's fulfilling for me, for sure. And so if you can find just a few people, if you're a lender and work with those people, I really don't think you should waste time and energy looking for deal after deal after deal after deal. That's me
Yeah.
personally, it's an opinion. I just think I think a lot of deals do go south. People don't wanna talk about that. I think anything can happen in real estate. I think even when things aren't going well, and I've been a part of things that aren't going well, like, I think you have to have communication, and I think that you have to know that you're a part of an ecosystem that even if it doesn't go exactly as planned, that you are going to get repaid. And I think that comes with finding a good operator. Like, and to me, that's equally as important as all the safety protection. Like, we talk about safety so much, and that's just not 100% the whole deal. Like, there's so many other things. The deal does have to pencil out, it does have to be a good deal, but the deal can pencil out. You can have all the protections, all the paperwork, and something still go
Mhm.
wrong operator. So if we wanted to ask the question again about what does Amber want, I want a good operator. That's what I want. I want an operator that I know, love. 100% and trust. Because if something goes wrong, I know that they love and trust me, and that they know that my money is
Yeah.
very important and that they are going to pay me back. So, yes, I want it to be a good deal. Yes, I want it to be good protection. I want to be fully protected, but I'm not going to go, I want a million things from this operator. Maybe if it's the
Yeah.
first time I'm ever lending to them, but once I have a relationship with them and I'm a repeat lender, like, not to say that something's not going to go wrong, but if I have that relationship with them, I know that they're going to take care of me. And so I get all the, like I said, standard protections, the insurance, the things, but I'm not going to go crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
partner.
Win-win for
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Win-win for everyone. Cool. Amber, let's talk a little bit about the way how people can raise capital. So we all know about some traditional ways. We all should speak with our family members, with our friends, with our neighbors, with people from our community. We know we can speak with people in gym, maybe to go to meetups. You just mentioned some people do it online. Or could you please share with us any fresh ideas? Because we all see everything in changing, nothing is constant in this life. So are there any new ways to raise capital?
Um, Again, I think it comes down to the person. So I like to say that I'm all about business everywhere I go. I talk about um, money. I talk about, and I think you should, right? Financial literacy should be something that we want to talk about. So
Mhm.
I everybody knows, I've said it a million times. My number one thing is I'm going to be converting a lot of Uber drivers. I'm in a lot of Ubers, but really, I talk to everybody everywhere I go. I talk to people in the airport a lot. I think you should join your chamber of commerce. I think that's a good place. But the number one way to raise capital, whether it's online or wherever it is if somebody gives you a mic or if somebody gives you a
Mhm.
platform, take it. You asked me to be on this podcast, I'm on this podcast. Now people know what I do, right? If somebody asks you to be on a podcast, be on a podcast. I'm right now having a homework assignment of being on 3 podcasts a week. So that's what I'm doing. Um, I also
Awesome.
just we hosted an event in Denver, and it started out to be an event for investors that we already have. We have a lot of investors in Denver really well. We went to provide education to them, and it was really cool. We did some mindset stuff, and um, my partner built a game, and so we played a game there, and I think that was a hit. We'll probably tweak it a little bit, and we're going to go to multiple cities. But the amount of people from that event, first of all, we were expecting 60 or 70, and 113 showed up, and I think that that was really great for our first event. But the amount of people that said they wanted to invest
Mhm.
afterwards, I mean, just about everybody in the room wanted to do it. Well, a lot of them already were investors, but they asked about new deals, and we didn't pitch a deal there. We didn't pitch the fund. Like, we literally pitched nothing. We just provided value. And so I think um yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. When I'm at local meetups, I generally ask if I can speak. If there's a question in the audience, I jump up and give the answer, and or I provide my opinion if there's not an answer to give. I just think I think you should be posting on social media regularly, but I
Mhm.
don't see social media as I think that's something somebody looks up for credibility. I think that's not
Mhm.
where it is. Definitely think it's the personal relationship. So if you're not going to live events, you need to be intentionally networking. That's the number one way to do it. Like, and then follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. I think if you are 100% capital raiser, then I think that you should know lead generation. I think that you should be about business, right? Like, I think you should treat
Mhm.
it just like a business. If you are a borrower, I would almost say you need a capital raiser on your team, especially as you grow out, because I think what it takes to be a capital raiser and nurture relationships and follow up and communicate, then I think that it's hard for an operator to do that because they're out operating, right?
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you are an operator trying to get capital, then it's like I said earlier, post about what you're doing enough, and don't make all the posts about money. And people will, I mean, I would say things like, do you want to partner with me? I'm acquiring this property. There's so many ways you can partner with me. I'd love to offer you education. DM me. And some people, I mean, you don't have to say anything about money. Some people may say, yeah, I want to learn from you. And you can say, follow up by saying, I need money to get into this deal. I need $50,000. Do you have that? Like, do you want to be a capital partner? If they say no, then say, okay, that's okay. But do you know somebody who would want to be? They
Mm-hmm.
most more times than not, people know people who have money, even if they don't have money. So I think everybody can be an investor. I think there's so many ways to be an investor, but I think talk about partnership, talk about what you can offer people, talk about value, and that's how you get people. Stand in front of
Mm-hmm.
stages, get on podcasts, host a podcast. Like, yeah,
Yeah. And just spread information about what you're doing for all people who you meet.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm just reading through comments and people say, Stacy said, I'm always on hunt for good operators. Brian said, relationship first, business after. Cool. Alex
Yeah.
said,
And
love your approach. It's built on flexibility and accommodation.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Kelly said, I don't keep it all raised, but I love listening to Amber talk about all things money. Some of the best knowledge out there.
Oh,
Mindy
thank you
said,
so
great
much.
information. Yeah, people and Shaylee and Richard and Carol, Alexandra. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us, for support us, and for always give us so many golden nuggets. Uh, it's awesome. You know, Amber, I've had a couple of stories from people who does capital raising, and there are a couple of unique people who do it only online. So, what do you think
Mhm.
about capital raising online? What are the main ways to do it online?
I don't, that's not me. I don't do it only online, so I can't answer that question. But what I would say is what I said at the very beginning of the call, which is
Mm-hmm.
go go watch what they're doing. I think if you are going to be a capital raiser, you need to treat it like a
Mm-hmm.
business just like anything else. So you need to go watch what other capital raisers do. I've
Yeah.
watched what other capital raisers do. I watch what Kalisha Carter does. I watch what Alexis Morgan does. I see Joshua's son doing a lot of things. He's become a great friend lately. I watch what he's doing. He's doing great things. Alvin Lee, like I know what other people are doing, so I can tweak my own skill set. They do everything. Um, Kevin and Jennifer Wynn, like they are great connectors and capital raisers. They do it their own way.
Mm,
They've developed a little bit of a community, and they host their own community calls, and they do things like that. So you can watch what other people do and then find how you do it. That's not how I do it. Again, like I said, like I know what I need to do in the future. Like I have goals, I have metrics that I want to change. But when I look at the KPIs that of myself, it's going to be live events all day long. It's going to be meeting intentionally networking, which can be online, and then going to live events and being in community with people and following up and following up and following up. Sometimes they invest right away.
yeah.
Sometimes it takes months, but that is my way of doing it. And then again, like I don't even like answering that question because that's an action step that I take, but that is not how I capital raise. How I capital raise is knowing people, the psychology of people. I know what they want.
Mhm.
I know what they think. I know what they feel. I know what their emotions are. I know when they're scared. I know when they're happy. I know when they're pumped. I know when they're excited about doing another deal. I know when they're going through a divorce. I know when they're losing their house. I know when they're,
Yeah.
I mean, the different things that, like, I
Yeah.
know people. I know people who have lost loved ones. I know people who they want to be a partner in the deal because they're lonely and they want to be a part of something bigger. And I make sure that they are a part of something bigger. Like you are actively changing my life. I tell people that all the time. Like my doctor said I'm not going to be walking, I'm walking. Like, I have been sick for 4 weeks, but I tell people all the time, you have saved my life.
Mhm.
I'm walking because of you. I'm walking because I'm keep going because you're investing in this deal and you're helping me grow my business. So for
Mhm.
me, I can tell you all the tips. I can tell you talk to your Uber drivers. I can tell you go to the golf course. I capital raise by knowing people inside and out. And I don't know if people know the definition of compassion. I've recently learned it, but if you know where it comes from like the Greek origin, it means taking your insides, and your insides feel so deeply about somebody else's insides. It sounds gross, right? A
Mhm.
little bit. But that's what the word compassion means. And that's what I want to have. Like, I want to have compassion for people. And that is how I capital raise. Like, we can talk tips, we can talk KPIs, we can talk about going to see what other people are doing. I think you have to find your way. For me, it's not about money, it's about people. People will invest in me, which I hate actually because it's very humbling, but it's also
Mhm.
scary. They invest in me to invest in me. They invest in my operator
Mhm.
because I build up my operator. Like, I am a person who builds up my team. Like, I'm a part of a team, and every single person in that team is a rock star. There's never
Mhm.
negativity in my space. I build everybody up. When we went to the event in Denver, like, every single one of our team had so much synergy, and I think people could feel that. We did an investor dinner brunch the next day, and it was just like more people that weren't investors. They didn't get to come to the brunch. They wanted to come to the brunch. They wanted to spend more time with us. The event was supposed to be 8 or 9 hours. It lasted longer. We couldn't get people to leave. So when you ask me, how do I capital raise? It's not a skill set of raising money. It's a skill set of knowing people, having compassion about people. Every single investor in every single deal, I know what they need. I know what they want. There's a gentleman who he's living off of the passive income he makes in the deals. I know that about him. I know he's got to make his returns because that's his job. That's his life money. Like I said, I know investors who are lonely and they want to be a part of something bigger. I know investors who want to get into multifamily and they want education. We provide education. I know investors who I don't know.
Yep.
They want to be heard. They want to be validated, and I do that. So that's it, Elena. Like, that's my skill set. Can't tell everybody else how to do it, but
Yeah.
no, like, I can't give you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step. Those books, they don't help me. Like, I have a million
Yeah.
capital raising books. They don't, those books don't help me. That's not how I do it. I do, I do it with everyday investors. Now, we didn't even talk about institutional investors. That's a whole different game. You have to know the
Absolutely.
language of money. You have to know the language of business. You have to talk about metrics and all kind of things that, you know, markets and global money conversations. That's a
Mhm.
different skill. I can do that as well. And I do that when I need to. I have soft commitments right now for the fund from institutional family offices. But I think that I can only tell you what I do. I can't tell you what's going to work for you. I would say
Yeah.
track what other people are doing and track what you're doing and see when you did convert somebody, when you did close somebody, why did it work? How did it work? And then track it and duplicate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Interesting. Because even capital raisers, yeah, like you just said, there are no steps how to start raise capital. There are not really blueprints, right? All people are different, and people who communicate are different, and every raiser has own style, right? Even style how you guys build dialogue with people, and just maybe the best way is to find people who you click with to
I
start
joined a
to start
mastermind
the best
today.
quality. Hmm.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a sucker for sales fun. Everybody knows that. I'm in a lot of different masterminds. Um, there's some masterminds I won't join. Like, I don't vibe with them, and it's like, no, I don't think you're gonna be able to teach me how to raise capital. I really don't think any mastermind or book's gonna teach me anything more about raising capital. They may teach me how to get better leads, but I think I'm always going to be me. I'd love to talk to you in a year. Maybe I'll change. Maybe once the fund's launched and I have to grow. And I think we should all be growing, right? Like I want to grow and emerge and be better. Then maybe we can
Mhm.
talk about things I've tweaked and changed because I do change and tweak things. I don't post the same things on social media that I used to post before about what we talked about before. I don't do that. I do
Mhm.
some of it, but I don't do it, and I'll repost other people's stuff, but I don't do that a lot. Um, I think what a mastermind can do and what education can do is help you find leads. So I think if you want to learn the
Mhm.
skill of finding new investors, I think that's what a mastermind and education can provide. Masterminds
Yep.
get open your network. And so that's what I use them for. But like I said, I've read a lot of books. I've taken notes. I've written down ABC. Like people are saying, hey, in 5 days, you're going to raise this much money. And I've tried it, and that's not my style. And that's okay. Like it's like I said when I was
Mhm.
promoting this podcast, I'm gonna write my own book one day because I do it differently. And maybe somebody will do it like me, and maybe they won't. Um, I always want to provide value, so I hope I am. Like I hope people will at least find it interesting what I'm saying, but at the same time, just know you are you, and you need to be you because that's what people want. That's what people vibe with. That's what people invest in. They invest in who
Mhm.
you are. And if you are a numbers business person, then your investors are going to be numbers business people. They're not mine, but they're going to be yours. So just don't be discouraged. Don't take what if, some of my tips and say, well, that's not really me. I don't know people as well as
Mhm.
that. But if it does resonate with you, then try it. I think the takeaway is at least look introspectively as to what you're doing and be
Mhm.
willing to pivot and grow from whatever actions you're taking, be able to learn from them, measure them, see what's working, and adapt as needed.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Amber. Guys, we're going to be done very soon with our podcast. So if you have any questions to Amber, please feel free to ask her in the chat. And I have probably last question to you, Amber. So you just mentioned you read lots of books. So two questions actually. Two questions. First question, which books you would suggest to us to read to be better capital raisers? And second question, when we will be able to read your book.
That's funny. Um, I'm gonna say this, and I hope it doesn't get me in trouble. Um, I'm scared to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Um,
Don't feel scary.
you're
Be confident.
I, I have found Brad Blazer's mentorship because I took one of his mini courses to be incredibly boring. Okay. I don't recommend the
Oh.
course, but I actually like his book. So if Brad Blazer, please forgive me for saying that. I mean, it's a personal opinion, and I'm so sorry. Um, your book's great. Okay, like everybody go buy Brad Blazer's book. He's got great tips in there. And maybe you're gonna love. If you're a dry person, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love his course. So if you want a dry
It's
mentorship,
not for you. It's not for
I'll
you.
tell you,
You're emotional. You're alive.
yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. But I don't want to. It's just like I said earlier. I don't want to kill anybody's deal. He's raised a lot of money. A lot of money. He's well known in the space. Some of you may know him. So I look up to you, Brad. You have a wonderful book. Like I love what you're doing. I'm a huge fan. Um, so I like his book.
Cool. So what about your book? Do you want to tell us something about your plans?
Girl, I haven't even. No, I have not started that book. I want to do it. I will do it eventually. I've got a few other goals before that. I want $50 million assets under management in the next 12 months. There's other things I want to do. I want to be able to be on a TED Talk. I want to be on more stages. I want to be on more
Mm,
podcasts, more intentional about networking. Like I have metrics that I'm measuring and things that I want to do. And those are the goals right now. I hope that soon I will write a book. But you know what? It'll probably be after I get that $50 million. And I was on a call today earlier with someone about it's really hard to raise capital in this market. Yes, I think it is. People talk about the
yeah.
$300 trillion in dry powder. There's a lot of venture capital funds. There's a lot of funds that want to deploy their money. But at the same time, I think it's an election year. There's a lot of macroeconomics right now that goes into people maybe not wanting to deploy their money. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, when that gentleman said that to me, he was like, it's just, I'm struggling. Like, it's just not a good time to raise capital. Like, you're launching your fund at probably the worst time. And it's like, absolutely not. I am launching my fund at the best time possible because I already have the skill set because we're going to live events, because we're doing the thing. Like if I can't capital raise, then nobody can capital raise. So period. Right? Like so and I mean I say that and it sounds like I'm not a humble person by saying that, but what I'm telling you, if you don't have that confidence in your ability to achieve your goals, you're not going to achieve your goals. I have the confidence that I'm going to have $50 million assets under management. I will have that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the best time for me to launch a fund. If nobody else is deploying money anywhere else, they're gonna be deploying it in my fund for sure. So that's it. That's we can end right
I
there, Elena.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we're almost done. I just have a couple comments on the chat. Haley said, "Growth is much more fun." Peter said, 50 millions and a TikTok. I love it. Aaron said, Hunter Thompson said is the best time blood is in the streets.
right. Yeah.
Cool,
And I
cool.
and I respect Gunnar Thompson too, so for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today with us. Thank you so much, Amber. And I'm so sorry about technical issues in the beginning. We really were not able to step into our Facebook. I don't know why. It's shit happens. Like my friend says. Amber, thank you so much for all your golden nuggets. And I still have a million questions, but I realize it's for not for 1 hour stream. Uh, yep.
Elena, thank you. Like you have been, since I've met you, you have just been an awesome friend to me and you've reached out and encouraged me so many times. Like I know when you reach out, you're just going to be so upbeat and it's awesome. It feels good. And so anytime somebody makes my heart skip a beat, it's a good day. And most of you do that. And so, Elena, thank you to you. Thank you for having me here. But to everybody else who are making these lovely, beautiful comments, like, thank you for filling up my cup. And thank you for all the love and the prayer that you've given me over these past few weeks. I know like now is probably not the time or place, not this past Sunday, but the last Sunday, I literally thought I was going to die. Like I literally did. I woke up in the middle of the
Don't
night.
do.
I lost all bodily function. I called my sister. I said, the Lord has taken me tonight. And she's like, no. And so when like I was making those posts and I know like a social media post doesn't do justice on what someone's going through, but when your body's not working and you're stumbling and you're falling and you can't feel most of your body, but the body parts that you can feel is just nothing but
Yeah,
pain. It's a real
yeah.
struggle. And you guys, I mean, you overdid it. I got care packages. I have like 12 packages downstairs. Carlin sent 2 of them. Thank you, Carlin. You're the very best. Other people did too. Like it's just like the outpouring of love. I had people praying, like sending me actual
Yeah.
prayers. And thank you. Like I think you guys changed the trajectory of my life just by doing that because when people love you like that, like it's healing. It's totally healing. I didn't even know how I
Yeah.
was gonna get home from that event. Like I didn't know how I was gonna get on the plane. They were trying to admit me in the hospital in Denver, and I was like, no, I gotta be home. I don't have my family here, and so
Mm.
um, you guys have you're the cream of the crop. Like, you're the rock
Yeah,
stars. I know, Elena, you had me
it's
as a
family.
guest, but
It's
I'm not
family.
the rock star here. It's you guys. Like, you're it. So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so.
Amber, thank you so much. Please feel better. Please be strong.
Oh,
And
I do
guys,
feel
if you
better.
have any questions, reach out to Amber directly and reach out to me. I always happy to extend my network with lenders, with another investors. And I know Amber is so great. She always happy to answer questions. In the beginning when I did not know her well, every time I asked her questions, she was always available. It's so cool. Yeah, people said they love you. If you
Thank you.
when you will be able to read comments, you will see all these warm comments. Thank you so much,
You
Amber.
guys,
Please get
yes,
well, and
for
our
sure.
family able to, if we are able to help you somehow, we are here. You're awesome.
You did everything. Prayer and love, and that's what got me through. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Bye, Amber. Awesome. Thank you.